What is up, guys, and welcome to my Felucia MOC showcase video. This MOC is based off the Clone Wars episode Padawan Lost from season 4 of the series, in which Plo Koon, Anakin, and Ahsoka lead a group of clones and tanks in an attack against a droid outpost on Felucia, where Ahsoka is then captured by a group of Trandoshan hunters. However, at the beginning of the episode, during the narration, we see Anakin and Ahsoka leading their tank division in a fight against multiple droid squadrons on their way to the outpost. This MOC depicts the luscious Felucian terrain and vegetation with the droid and clone forces converging on each other. This MOC is freeform, so I used a combination of slopes, plates, and tiles to finish off and build a border around the side of the MOC to almost make it seem as if this structure of land was extracted from the planet, and this is kind of like the continuation of dirt and terrain on the side of the MOC. I had a limited amount of pieces in colors such as olive green and tan, so I was forced to use plates and tiles on their side to help add depth and texture on this side. However, I think it still turned out pretty good because it kind of gives the effect of broken up or just like ruffled dirt or terrain on the side. I think it looks nice and just adds a nice bit of detail to the side of the MOC. The most challenging part of the border was places where the terrain indented or extended, especially in the corners. So I had to use slopes on their sides to help bridge the gap from piece to piece. Along with over here, I had to use a slope tile and a slope to help bridge this wide and deep gap. I think this corner came out good as well, as I used the same technique with a sloped plate and a slope to help bridge kind of a L-shaped gap, and I think it really looks nice and just helped smooth off this part of the border. This corner, however, was much more difficult, as it's almost a tiered corner where there's like two separate indents. So I had to use two different types of slopes, one smaller one on this side and then a larger, rounder slope to connect this slope to the other side to just create a nice smooth and flowing corner to help round out this side of the MOC. The side behind the droids is much the same as the side over here, as it's just olive green sloped plates on their side and tan plates as well to kind of help continue the color change from olive green over here to tan over here. And so this border just helps continue that change while also adding a nice level of detail to the side. The side behind the ATTE has some more detail, as we have this nice big wedge slope in dark orange over here that helps connect with these tan slopes over here, and this adds like just a nice little indent and some depth to the side. And while this side over here just is plates and tiles to help add some more texture. This corner, however, might be my favorite of them all, as at first we have these two dark orange wedge slopes kind of butting up against like the indent here, with some greebling and detail on the side with the nougat plates on their side and the masonry brick, and then kind of this rounded slope tan piece in the middle to kind of show that like a chunk of this orange part has been removed, and then you can kind of see the tan or sand that's in the middle or further towards the center of the MOC. And then the fourth and final corner is really nothing special, just two different types of tan slopes next to each other to kind of help add a gradual and wide change from this side of the board to this side. And then finally, taking a look at this final long side of the border, I think this one came out the best by far. I really love this dark tan section, as I had a large variety of pieces and slopes that really add detail and kind of some more depth to the MOC. As we take a closer look, I have these gradual slopes, these large wedge slopes, and then kind of some sloped plates here to add some more depth and texture, as if this is kind of like a piece of rock that's kind of been cut. And then these jumper plates on their side, masonry bricks that all just add texture, and it's almost like a greebling effect to the side of the border, which I really like and I really think helps finish it off and makes it seem as if it's dirt and not just some man-made structure. The tan side over here is nothing crazy, just some cheese slopes and wider cheese slope to help just add a gradual effect down. And then the dark orange side looks nice using these bigger slopes on their side to help just add like a butting out and then an indent, which I think looks very nice. And then finally, this little section right here, the more colorful section to add a little pop of color on the side, along with the sand green. These sand green slope tiles I think look nice and really help add a gradual effect on the MOC. But overall, I think the side of the border came out well, and I think the border overall came out well. It was a new challenge for me, and I had a limited amount of pieces, but I still think it came out similar to my vision and helps finish off and complete the MOC. Next, let's take a look at the vegetation that surrounds the main path of the MOC, where the main battle is occurring. The vegetation was inspired by Chris Productions' Felucia MOC. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I'll link it in the description. But I try to go for a large variety of different plants with bright colors that really portray Felucia, so that you can tell right away what kind of plant this is. And I think that came out really well. I like how a lot of these plants look. I think they really reflect the Felucian wildlife on the planet, along with the density of the foliage, with these grass pieces in between the larger plants that really reflect like a highly dense area. A common plant seen throughout the MOC is this one right here, which uses lime green cylinders with translucent blue dishes that I think accurately represents a Felucian plant with kind of the tiered system of its leaves, I guess you could say. Another plant which I think is very accurate to Felucia is this one right here, which uses these kind of light blue flowery pieces with translucent orange cylinders in the middle. And this is very close to the type of plant you see on Felucia. And then I also added flex tube in the middle of it so that it gives the effect almost it's leaning over, which is common to see in plants on Felucia. This one as well on this side has flex tube in it, so you can kind of tell it's almost leaning over the pathway. Another one of the custom plants on the MOC is this one right here, which utilizes the snowflake piece, which I think just looks nice as a nice pop of color with the white cylinders. And then this plant as well, which kind of almost looks like some kind of tropical plant with the black 1x1 studs in the middle and the 1x1 circular dark tan jumpers. It almost looks like some kind of trunk. It also has like the tiered system that is often seen on Felucian plants. I think it just looks really nice. It's seen probably the most common plant throughout the MOC, and I think it looks really nice. Another technique I used for the foliage was taking these palm tree branches and using the clip on the bottom of them and clipping them into the 1x1 sand green clips so they could stand vertically and kind of surround some of the plants that almost had some kind of grass or moss was growing around them, or that was kind of a part of like the base of the plant. Same with over here, I put a bush inside to kind of show an ever-growing piece of vegetation. And then in between all these individual pieces of vegetation, we have regular grass pieces and then also some olive green pieces that really just bring it together and help densify the foliage. And then taking a quick look at the terrain. There are kind of almost different biomes, as I like to call them, because on Felucia, there's not just one color to the ground. Tan is the prominent color. It is in this MOC as well. But like here we have a dark tan section, a brightish, like a orangish section over here, olive green over here, and then more olive green here, along with sand green kind of spread throughout to kind of just connect some of the areas. And then in the middle, in the more flat area, there are kind of just like some mounds of dirt or some kind of like slopes that add more depth as well to the terrain. And then for the final section, we have this bright colored area. It's a pop of color to the MOC that you might see on Felucia, along with plants that would also just be present on the floor of Felucia. And then getting to the main battlefield, we have the large separatist army on the left here, and then the clone tank division on the right. Now starting with the separatist forces, we always have a swarm of B1 battle droids, which is often how we see the droids depicted in the Clone Wars, since they are just meant to swarm and overwhelm the clones. And then we have 3 spider droids as well from the 2022 ATTE, which is the clone's main vehicle. But these spider droids are just kind of the main artillery, and this is accurate to the army that we see fighting the clones on Felucia. As you can see on the left here, we have 2 droids firing their red blaster bolts at the clones, kind of showing them mid-shot. In the middle, we have a droid getting blasted by one of the clones' blue blaster shots. And then on the right side, we have 2 more droids firing shots, along with a spider droid charging up to fire at the ATTE. And then in the front of the droid army, we have 4 just kind of dead droids. This one was just shot and lost its gun. This one's legs were shot off. This one's head was shot off. This one was also hit, is laying flat after it lost its gun. And then looking to the more interesting clone forces, we have Anakin and Ahsoka in their mid to late Clone Wars robes that just look super nice figures. They're leading the clone forces. And then we have Phase 1 Rex over here standing beside Ahsoka. And then surrounding Ahsoka, Rex, and Anakin, we have 5 clones, one of which is dead. But they are rocking blue arms. Since in the episode we see the Phase 1 clones have blue markings showing that they're part of the 501st. So to accurately depict that, I chose to put blue arms on these clones. And then these 3 right here are just rushing into battle. These 2 which are firing shots at the droids. And this one's just turned to the side, just blasting some droids. So he looks sweet like that. And the ATT is the main point of focus for the clones. In the episode, we see 2 ATTs, one in the front like this, and then one behind. But due to the size of this MOC, there's only one, just showing like kind of the front of the clone forces. Then inside, we have an ATTE driver, and then manning the ATTE's big gun is a regular just clone gunner. But overall, I like how the main battle scene turned out. I like the effect of dead droids and a dead clone that show that the battle hasn't just started, but the forces are really converging on each other, and there's probably even going to be more casualties, along with the droids firing off their red blaster bolts, and then the clones firing off the blue ones as well, which just show that they're in the heat of the battle. Overall, I'm really happy with how this MOC turned out. I just love the way the colors pop, and you can clearly tell with the vegetation that this MOC is based off Felucia. And then I love the battle, the massive droid force, and I just love how Anakin, Ahsoka, and Rex are leading the clones in this awesome battle. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the MOC. What you would do differently, or any critiques you have for future builds. Thanks for checking out the MOC and my take on the Battle of Felucia, and have a great day.